creativity in marketing is becoming much more of a science where because of the massive amount of data that marketers have at our disposal and the tools that allow us to really make sense out of that data in a much faster way, when we deliver a story, it is pretty well thought through, backed by data.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast, an auditory journey through the latest in marketing, branding, and advertising. Now, here's your Marketing Expedition guide, Ray Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast. In today's episode, we have Carolyn Bao, and she's currently serving as the Vice President of Marketing at AppsFlyer North American region in a full-time capacity. And she also teaches a foundational course for MBA at Rice as an entrepreneurial faculty member and a founding board member of Silicon Valley Leadership Tech, or SVLC.tech. Recognized with accolades such as LinkedIn's Top Voices and Product Marketing Alliance's Top 100 PMMs, Ms. Bao is celebrated for bringing products like Facebook attribution to global markets, building high-performance marketing teams, and thought leadership in women in leadership, and marketing management and mobile growth strategies through key speaking engagements for educational and professional events, such as Stanford Lead, the Product School, App Growth Summit, and App Promotion Summit. And she's built her career portfolio through leadership roles at technology powerhouses, including Moomoo, Facebook, Visa, and Yahoo. You are in for a treat. She has so much knowledge to drop. But first, it's time for our Marketing Essentials moment, the basics that you need to help you continue to build your brand and your bottom line. Okay, let's talk about a different, unique kind of way to get your brand out there that may not actually give you 100% ROI, but it might give you some really good sentiment scoring. When I say sentiment scoring on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you recommend this company or this brand, or how likely would you, align with this brand or company? Sentiment scoring is all about feelings, which we know our next generation is all about feelings and emotions, right? And who they align with, and commitments and sustainability and all the things. So something that I can tell you that has been pretty successful for Peppershock Media and our clients is contributing to nonprofits. In our area in Idaho, we have per capita one of the highest ranking nonprofits in the nation. So nonprofits are a really big deal in our area. And probably a lot of those nonprofits are in your area too. Let me just say, if I said, think of a nonprofit right now, I'm sure you could probably come up with 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 in a moment's notice. A lot of nonprofits need brands who make money to help support those who don't make money that are supposed to be nonprofit, right? So for-profit businesses will sometimes align and support nonprofits because it's like-minded, it's something that they believe in, that they love, and whatever, right? So every company has a nonprofit that they should support. And most likely a lot of nonprofits are supported by for-profit companies. And in exchange, they get brand promotion. Maybe they sponsor an event or a gala or a fundraiser or something of that nature. And the for-profits benefit because they can give auction items away, like silent or live auction items away. They can support the event. They can buy a table at the nonprofit event to raise money. There's always something, right, that you can do if you're a for-profit company supporting a nonprofit in your area. No matter where you are in the world, there's always a nonprofit to support. And trust me, if you want nonprofits to support, I can hook you up with something that's like-minded to what you believe in, whether it's sustainability or recycling or the performing arts or, Feed the Gap. I mean, there's so many things that you can support as a for-profit company. And it's just done because, I mean, yeah, maybe you might get some tax benefits from it, but it's more of a feel good. Your employees see that you're supporting a good cause. They get to be involved. They like the non-cause, the nonprofit. It's a good culture building thing. All kinds of wonderful things come from being involved in nonprofits. Another kind of residual side effect that happens is when you support a nonprofit and you get involved with the board, likely the board are for-profit companies coming together to support the nonprofit, and then you get to do business subsequently because you're affiliated with something that's like-minded. So board members make great clients, by the way, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you are supporting or doing. And I firmly believe that. I don't care what industry you're in, you need to support some type of nonprofit, get involved in your community, get involved in something that is aligning with your industry, whether it's an association or some sort of quasi-governmental entity or whatever, nonprofit, whatever, it doesn't matter. Get involved and be a go-giver, because go-givers, other nonprofit board members, which are go-givers, will support other go-givers, no matter what. And I learned this at a very young age. I've been doing this for 20 years. And one of my favorite, I have lots of favorite mentors, but one of my favorite mentors, Susie Boyle, she introduced me to this entire idea of supporting nonprofits. And we did cause videos and we did promotional materials and we did signage and all this stuff that they didn't even have to pay for, but we received business in abundance because we were donating our time, our energy, our effort. And now to this day, we still donate, but we don't do it all 100% gratis because, I don't know, we have to still pay our people, right? And we've had so many people come at us and want us to support this and that and the other. So we still have to draw the line, and now we, do charge at least at cost. And that's something you need to learn is I will do this for you at cost. Like, I don't make a profit on anything that we do for nonprofits. I don't make a profit on anything we do for nonprofits. But I get so much in abundance. We get to communicate with the board members who are for-profit that then want to do business with us because we supported something that they supported. And that is a dynamite way to get new business because you are working with people who are philanthropic, who are good people, right? They're good people. They don't want to screw you over because they don't want to tarnish their name, and they're good people. Those are the types of people you want to do business with. So anyway, I digress a little bit, but I want you to understand how supporting nonprofits as a profitable business can actually help you gain profit. It's kind of weird, but it's true because you're now surrounded by the like-minded people that you want to do business with or who want to do business with you because you are supporting something that they believe in, that they want to be a part of, that they want to do. And I can't tell you how many boards and things that I've been asked to be on and, wanted to serve. Like, I've had to turn down board membership positions, and I've had to actually say no to some things because it didn't align or I didn't have the time or whatever. But the ones that I have served on have been phenomenal. And if I could, have more time in the world, I would have served on all of those that asked me to. But it's just, you have to make choices, right? In a business world, it's just what it is. But I have to tell you, the people that I get to do business with, that we get to work with, those are the types of people we want to do business with, right? They elevate what we call the CWI score, Client Worthiness Index. And I'm sharing this because those of you listening might relate to this. Client worthiness, right? Who are we trying to attract to do business with on a regular basis? And are they people that are going to listen to us? who appreciate our recommendations, who appreciate our knowledge and experience. And yeah, we're not the cheapest in town. I don't want to be the cheapest in town. Are they willing to pay the value of what we bring to them? Are they willing to listen and work with us as a good partnership? Or are they just expecting us to be order takers and just not even like consider our ideas? We don't want to work with them. Then they have a low client worthiness index or CWI score. And the CWI score is quite a powerful thing to think about. And we score them, and some of it's gut check. Some of our clients we look at, or prospective clients we look at, are they going to be a good client? Are they going to be a good client fit for our culture, our community, our crew, our people? Do we believe in their product or service? Do we really want to work with these people? And, it took me 20 years to get here, but sometimes we just have to say, no, we don't want to work with you. You are not our ideal client. And trust me, when I was in my young 20s starting this business, I was open for business and wanting to work with anybody and everybody that would take us. And I quickly learned at some point that that was not the right thing to do. I remember we took on a client, and they were going to be our very biggest client, very good cash flow. And we worked with them for 2 years. And I had staff in my office literally crying almost every day because the client was not treating my staff well. They were not a good fit. They had a very low CWI score after we came across this idea. And it was just not the right fit. And it was such a hard decision because they were so good and they, cash flow wise, not so good with client fit. And they literally made my staff pain. I mean, it was just painful. And I lost some staff over it. I lost people over this particular, oh my gosh, it was a devastating time. And I learned a lot over the 20 years. I'm telling you now, because I don't want you all to go through the same thing. If you don't have a good client fit, even if they're their biggest, best cash flow client, losing staff over them may not be the price you want to pay. And that's what we did. And we separated from that client, moved into a smaller space, did what we had to do to reconcile and make our place a place where people wanted to come to work every day. Because it was not during that time when we had the wrong fit for the wrong client. And I don't want you to go through that. So no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the world, no matter if you're nonprofit, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you have a wrong fit client that is making you all miserable, it's a tough decision. But sometimes you do what you do because you believe in your staff, you believe in your people, you believe in those who do in, day out. And it's a tough, hard thing to go through, but we did it. We did. We fired the client. We had to, because it was just too much pain and agony and hardship and by the way, if you're on the flip side of this, don't treat your agency so poorly that you make people cry every day for a time being. It's just not okay. Learn how to be a great client if you're on the flip side of this and you're not an agency, but you hire agencies. Learn how to work with your agency and make them your partners. Collaborate. Be a partner with your agency. They're there to help you, and they want to if you treat them right. Don't be dicks. With that note, let's get on to the interview. Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community powered by Peppershock Media. And today's guest, we have Carolyn Bao. Welcome to the show, Carolyn.
Hi, Ray. So glad to be here. And like always, I love speaking with marketers. So this is totally where I feel most comfortable.
Excellent. Yes, we get to go on a marketing journey and I love it too. So, Carolyn, I know we have your bio, we read that, but I want to know a little bit more about you and kind of walk us on a journey. What got you to where you are now and all the things that you get to do in your world today?
I think I started with primarily curiosity. I've always been an extrovert, and I always loved, just amazed by what brands were doing. So being an extrovert who loves to be on stage and create stories and experiences for people. The moment that I hit the workforce, it felt very natural that I wanted to be in marketing. And this is the reason why I went on to get my MBA, as well as really just actively pursued all the opportunities. Before I know, I've been in the digital marketing industry for actually more than 20 years as of today, as of this year.
Congratulations. That's
Yes,
exciting.
I've never looked back. It's just wonderful. So a quick rundown on my experiences included earlier, I started with selling PPC ads for Yahoo globally and launched probably one of the first industry first A/B testing methodology, just actually to solve internal struggle between user experience and advertising. Then
Mm,
this led me to a curiosity question about, if people bought ads, what exactly is a brand owner's perspective? And that led me to a job with Visa.
mm,
And at Visa, throughout my almost 5 years of tenure, I also grew very curious. If people bought ads and drove people through their website, what do they do with that? And
mm,
how should you grow your website presence? And that led me to the experiences with Bright Edge, which is the SEO software leader. So, after I sold and bought ads, I want to know, what does it feel like to run marketing with absolutely no budget, just
mm,
organic? That's what Bright Edge was.
mm,
But long and winded journey eventually took me to this where I am, which is, if economy is growing to wherever consumers' behaviors are changing and consumers are going a lot more mobile, shouldn't mobile be where I want to channel my energy to?
mm.
So I'm really grateful that AppsFlyer found me, and I have been just in love with working in AppsFlyer space, which is mobile marketing. So combining my experiences in web, SEO, digital advertising, advertising attribution, and now empowering all the mobile marketers globally and primarily in North America to really just become smarter with their advertising budget, their marketing strategies.
So, what does AppsFlyer do? If somebody were to use AppsFlyer, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing now with AppsFlyer.
Yeah, AppsFlyer is a mobile measurement marketing leader. We provide tools and data and also insights for more than tens of thousands of advertisers globally. And we work with more than tens of thousands of media partners so that
Mm,
advertisers can use one set of AppsFlyer SDK, which is the tool for mobile app developers to
mm,
connect with any other platform for data. They use AppsFlyer SDK and they can immediately understand the marketing spend and the according KPIs related to all those marketing dollars, from user acquisition to driving lifetime value from
mm.
all of their marketing activities.
So it's a nice place to go to get the information you need to prove that you've done well with your marketing and efforts that you've created over all the different channels that because it kind of aggregates everything together, right?
Absolutely. You hit the nail in the head. That's precisely where AppsFlyer plays, is to help advertisers better measure and show the impact of their work.
Yes. Which it seems like it's increasingly more and more important to prove the value of what we're doing in advertising and in making sure that everything that we're doing is working, and we want to dump what doesn't and keep track of it. And it's yeah, definitely more important, more than ever before, I feel like. Do you think
Yeah.
you see that trend upwards, as far as if it's not measured, it's not treasured, and it's going away because we have no proof in performance?
Yeah. Far too often have I seen initiatives died because folks couldn't prove their value. So yes, absolutely. And to your question about is this trending, is absolutely where things are going, because there are a couple of interesting trends I've seen in the industry. One of them is the sort of marketers. Marketers traditionally we were known as the right brain heavy kind of species.
Yes, that's
But
right.
increasingly, I see that marketing executives, those who really rise up to the top, are becoming much more left brain heavy, or at the
Mhm.
minimum, left and right brain. In fact, that would be the ideal combo.
Yeah,
um,
right.
right? And Wall Street Journal specifically had an article about more CMOs had performance advertising background, it looks like.
Mhm.
The second trend that I'm seeing that's very interesting is creativity is no longer a mystery, held
Mhm.
by some folks at, like in Mad Men, but
Right.
creativity, creativity in marketing is becoming much more of a science where because of the massive amount of data that marketers have at our disposal and the tools that allow us to really make sense out of that data in a much faster way. When we deliver a story, it is pretty well thought through, backed by data.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it seems like if you can prove it, you can create beautiful pictures, but if no one sees it and clicks on it and does what they're supposed to do, and it doesn't make an impact, then it's all for naught. So you're right. It's good to have both left brain and right brain with the data and analysis and understanding, and also be creative too, so that it piques an interest, right?
Yeah, totally. And pique the right interest. There was a story that I heard from Google that they helped a client ran a campaign in Southeast
Mhm.
Asia. And it was very interesting. They said it was a beauty cam app. So all the creative assets were a woman taking a selfie. But when they ran the ads and they were like, the results were very different compared to other regions. What's the problem? Then
Hmm.
they studied because that prompts some interest. And so they interviewed some customers, and turns out for that particular region, that particular country, men actually love taking selfie and have the selfies beautified. So they
Hmm.
changed creative copy and the visual into men. And they said the results were actually great.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, cultural differences in different areas, that makes it, yeah, where you can track it and understand that. So then it became more successful. I love that. That's
Data
good.
driven. Yeah, data
Mhm.
driven creativity. It was just really, it was very interesting when I heard it the first time. And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah. So can you give me kind of like a use case of, one of the clients that maybe has been using AppsFlyer, and the benefit, and kind of some ways that they've really succeeded in going through this process with using your app?
Yeah, totally. There's several. We have a lot of clients. Several came to mind. One of them is this client called Fun Plus, and in this case, it's a more of a internal collaboration
Hmm.
where data really helped to unblock the teams. The customer was their internal BI team calculated some estimates and say, hey, this is how you can approach your campaign. And then they started to run their campaigns. The results came back not as what the BI team projected.
Hmm.
Suddenly this team was sort of being casted doubt with. Folks were
Mm.
like, do you really like have this figured out? They
Do
came
you
to
know what
us.
you're doing?
They came to us, and then they used this new product that we launched. It's called DCR, data collaboration product. And our solution allowed the BI team then to pipe in data from many different sources, internal, external, from the media partners, and then they recalibrated their model. They reported back us this is really crazy. They said the confidence on the data set was like 10x better than before. And they were
Mm.
able to then double down on some of the media channels that they were unsure about.
Mm.
It was really amazing, just the way how people work and
Mhm.
how magical when folks all look at the same data to be able to say, hey, look, maybe you were right. I don't have to pretend that I knew everything. It was just amazing.
Yeah. I can definitely see how that conversation can go. I can envision it right now.
And it's
That's
so
awesome.
often, right? It's so
Yeah.
often it happens
Yeah.
in our marketers' lives. Oftentimes this is something, by the way, philosophically speaking, I've been thinking
Mhm.
about what is truth? What is truth seeking by marketer?
Mhm.
I don't know if you have heard of this saying, but back in business school, and this was a running joke with the business
Mhm.
school students.
Mhm.
Professors always told us, "You guys are chasing R square more than 90%. Otherwise, you'll reject this analysis in real life. If you get 40%, 50% R square for your data set, you are saying hallelujah." It's so true. 20 some plus years after business school, I still encounter less than perfect data, but that's like the life of marketers. We always try to
Mhm.
get the truth. So we
Mhm.
understand the risk versus reward. But in reality, you don't always get to understand the truth.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
which is why I feel like super mission focused. Like it's so mission driven for me to work at AppsFlyer, because that is what AppsFlyer is built around, is we're helping customers to get closer to truth.
That's great. Well, yeah, there's always going to be a margin of error. Somebody's not going to put the right information in, or they're going to, lie about who they are, or what their interests are, or whatever, whatever kind of data you're trying to glean from. But I do think that there is some absolute value in understanding your audience, understanding what they're clicking on and what, you know, like you said, the A/B testing that you did originally, and kind of understanding what's going to work and the different iterations that you put forth, and you can test it and understand it and not waste your money. Really, it comes down to not wasting money,
Right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not wasting money, and it's like running a household, right? We all
Hmm.
have in just limited amount of budget, so instead of just eating, let's say, mac and cheese for dinner
Hmm.
towards the end of the month, let's plan it ahead of time so that we can actually have really great experience, not
Hmm.
having to spend a lot more money.
Right, right. Or if you're poor college students, it's ramen noodles and
Ah! Or
yes.
cold pizza.
Yeah, cold pizza. No, I'd much rather have a nice meal at the end because we planned ahead for sure. I get that very much so. And budgeting and understanding what it is. And like you said too earlier, when you're saying you can refocus your energy on the areas that are proven to work, and then now suddenly you're going to be even that much more impactful and effective. And then if you are, then you get more money for marketing because you've made more sales or more awareness or whatever you're wanting to accomplish. But um, these tools, I think, are amazing now. What we can do with them, and if people understand the need for them. Have you
Mhm.
are you using some form of AI in your tools now?
We do, yeah. Actually, AppsFlyer just announced a set of new product called Creative Analytics, and this product is using AI to help our clients better understand not only the performance for each of the advertising set.
Mm-hmm.
This, by the way, is very difficult to do because
Mm.
multiple media platforms, you will have the same ad, but they have different performance
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook versus Google, etc. So this is one.
Yeah.
The second piece of benefit from this product using AI is to automatically flags for the users what creative element is actually making a greater impact than the other.
Ooh.
This is crazy because when we said visual, good visual is what sometimes really makes or breaks an ad. But let's say if I give a visual of a farmer's market with the funnel cake and a cute piglet and a flag of the country, and you say, hey, this ad was super helpful,
Mm-hmm.
what elements do we double down on?
Mm.
Previously, this is impossible. Now, with
Right.
this new product using AI, our customers can have a very clear idea. Maybe the piglet actually was driving a lot more clicks versus the funnel cake, for example.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that can be very powerful.
We our marketing campaign advertising on this was hilarious. They featured a guy, and the guy was like shown as clearly the reason why CTR was lower for that particular ad. And then we jokingly said, if you swap the guy with a cat, would be so much more would be so much more attractive.
I can see that. Cat videos, man, they go crazy.
Right.
That is true. There is something to be said about you having pets or babies or, something like
Absolutely.
dogs, in your advertising because it draws attention.
Yeah. Like most recently, you saw Apple's billboard ads.
Mm,
It's somehow this is the month of babies. All the billboard ads are featuring babies right now.
interesting. Yeah, it's well, and if you have like an inanimate object, they say that if you have, even some human element to it, it's going to outperform anything that doesn't have any human element. So even if it's a hand holding your product or, it's a smiling face versus having just the object itself, then the ads with the face or the hand or some element of human relatability is going to outperform just having the inanimate object in the visual, right?
Yeah, so true. On that note, by the way, I would love to expand a tiny bit because luckily
Yeah,
I've been in paid ads for so long.
yeah.
It's so interesting. Some of these, let's call it conventional wisdom, such
Mm,
as lifestyle photos tend to work better than not.
mhm,
And by the way, like in high fashion, for example, the models who don't look you into the eye technically ladder better to higher brands and higher price. All of
mhm,
those are like existing assumptions many of us are subject to. What I would love to call attention to, maybe your
mhm,
audience
mhm,
attention to, is there's something called learning agenda, because increasingly as we have a lot more data, it is actually really important for marketers to kind of deliberately think about, what am I trying to do and what
mhm,
are the assumptions I'm building into this execution. Small
mhm,
example, we're publishing, let's say, a Facebook ad, and we're assuming, for example, a person is better than a non-person. This is our assumption. It would be
mhm,
super useful to say, this is my assumption, and then create a testing plan so that we can later come back and say, did my assumption really work towards
mhm,
this particular audience? um, just having the privilege of working with so many good brands,
mm.
many of them, they all have this very well thought through learning agenda organizationally. So I really want to call the attention
Yeah.
to your audience on that.
No, that's good. And taking the time to think about those things and giving it time to do the iterations to test it out before you spend big money on it. And
Hmm.
I think people sometimes in agency, I mean, we're all guilty of it. And I, after doing this for 20 years, it's hard sometimes because people just want to go quickly and get it done and see the results right away, but it's a long game, right? You have to be able to test it and give the time and the budget, right? You need to make sure that they
Yes,
plan the
yes.
budget for it,
And the testing budget. Yes,
Yes, a
yes,
testing
yes.
budget.
Hmm.
Very important, and especially now that we have access to all the data and all the information that we can gather and glean and know, like you said, it's proven creativity that's proven.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I think the other thing that's super interesting is the people who are creating ads and running ads know this level of specificity. They are
Mm,
in the perfect place to drive such a learning agenda,
mhm,
even if the budget is not provided or carved out for the paid media managers out there. I would highly encourage you to feel empowered and make that proposal to your manager. The reason is, now that I have been in the management role for a while now, but I
mhm,
reflect back myself as an IC. I think it's super important to know, I would so appreciate someone who knows more details than I do to come to
mm,
me with those very specific proposals and ask for me to approve the testing budget than to
mm.
wait for me to give the testing budget. There's like a
Right.
small difference, but I really think it's important to call out.
Yeah, I mean, it sets the stage for then success later if you can have that testing budget and time to do it right, and understand what's going to work and put your assumptions to test, like you said. In that way, then later it just helps everybody, your clients, it makes it even a better experience, and then they're going to want to stick around and do more with you if you've proven your performance for sure.
Right. Yeah. Do you recall there was a book called Atomic Habit?
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, the one interesting number from the book was if you're 1% better every day, you'll be 37 plus some percent better in at the end of the year. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
maybe some of our work, lettering back to marketing work, we don't have to be 50% better in the next campaign. We just need
Mhm.
to be thoughtful and become 1% better a little bit every time we try something.
Oh, that's good advice for those of you listening that need to just be 1% better every day. That's good.
Right.
Now it's time for a message from one of our partners, Kitcaster. Did you know that podcasts are a great way to grow your personal and business brand? And Kitcaster is a podcast booking agency that specializes in developing real human connections through podcast appearances. We've had several guests from Kitcaster on the Marketing Expedition podcast as well. So if you're an expert in your field, have a unique story to share, or an interesting point of view, it's time to explore the world of podcasting with Kitcaster. You can expect a completely customized concierge service from their staff of communication experts. Kitcaster is your secret weapon in podcasting for business. Your audience is waiting to hear from you. Go to kitcaster.com/expedition to apply for a special offer for friends of this podcast. So tell me more. I just want to learn a little bit more of kind of where are we going from here? I mean, there's so many new things that are happening so quickly, so rapidly. You're coming out with new products with AppsFlyer, but what's kind of the next thing on the horizon, or what are you working on that's going to be another big thing that needs to be in people's minds to start thinking about?
AppsFlyer, in specific, or the industry, both?
Well, maybe both. Let's go both ways there.
Yeah, sure. So AppsFlyer, on that front, we're very much in line with where the industry is going. We recognize that the economy in general is going AI, right?
Mhm,
This is the era of generative AI.
mhm,
AppsFlyer is at the forefront. So we are working very diligently on enabling more AI powered solutions to the hands of our customers.
mm,
Creative is one of them, and we also most recently we also announced the support of natural language processing powered queries within our dashboard as a small example. So
mm,
customers don't have to wait for their BI to kind of run the Python and whatnot to give them the insight. So that
interesting.
is where we're betting on. We're trying to make because we already have original data set for customers. We want to make the data set a lot more actionable. So it's
Mm,
not just data we're providing you, it's also actions you can take on that data. The other direction we're also taking is recognizing generative AI's core competitive strength for
mm,
any company going forward is unique data.
yeah.
It's sort of, and I'll expand on that just in a bit, but we are betting on the ability for our clients to not only collect, if you will, their own original data. I spend money, I get the marketing data, but also the ability to say, hey, I need to have a very safe space to stitch together data signals from many different platforms, not only mine, but also third party and maybe through media partners. This is what our data collaboration clean room is all about.
Mm,
This is where everything is anonymized, very privacy preserving,
mm,
while customers can unlock new use cases out of their data.
mm. I love the fact that you want to give actionable items to take, because you're right. You can analyze and process all the data all day long, but if you don't understand what you need to do with it and what moves you can make, that's going to be incredibly helpful moving forward. That's an amazing tool for that, to be able to analyze it and then kind of give you some tasks that you could do to help improve your processes and creatives and everything that you're working on. That's going to be phenomenal.
Right. I forgot to mention, by the way, Ray, we also recently acquired a company called Ulu, OOLO.
Okay.
When I heard about Ulu, I immediately was excited. The reason is Ulu also uses AI to help detect the anomalies in your marketing and, in fact, product data. So any
Oh.
data usually has certain trends.
Mm-hmm.
Simplistically speaking, if I'm an ice cream seller, my data would spike when the weather is more than, let's say, 70 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That's your trend. But if in a hot day and ice cream sales drops by 5%, 10%,
Mm-hmm.
many businesses will find out about it in a sort of reactive mode.
Hmm.
Ulu actually proactively detects it and alert the business owners something is off, take a look. So I was so excited. The reason is, having run web marketing and many other marketing practices previously, I know the last thing we marketers want to do is to be called in the middle of night and then launch a ad hoc analysis in a frantic fashion.
Uh-huh.
So I'm super excited. We're integrating Ulu into our product suite, and hopefully we'll make this publicly available to everyone very soon.
Oh, that sounds really incredible, to be able to predict where your problems could potentially be and then prevent them from happening. That's great.
I'm super stoked. I have to tell you why I'm so stoked. There was
Yeah.
a time I was running web marketing, and I love skiing. So I
Uh-huh.
was literally on a ski trip, and I was on my lift to get this frantic call from my boss and said website traffic went down by 10%. I forgot it was 10, maybe 30. I don't remember. But they were
Yeah.
like, we need you to log online and help troubleshoot. And I was like, oh no.
Oh, sure, I'm on the lift.
Which is why I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. If someone could give me a tool that's on my phone, ideally, to alert me something is off, like literally, I could have done something with it before taking that lift.
Right. Like, well, you can't really stop in the middle of it, so you just gotta ride the ride, but, no, that's great. Tell me some things that you do to stay on top of the industry. Like, what resources or podcasts do you listen to? What books do you read? What magazines? Any kind of resources that you tap into that others should know about?
I love this. This is always where I also get inspiration from other interviewers. So thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
I don't know if mine is the best. I personally love going through a few of my favorite ones. One of them is called The Information. I subscribe to their email newsletter. And I also subscribe to a few other growth leaders like PLG. I also, but I forgot to mention to you, I also teach entrepreneurship for
Yeah.
MBA at Rice. So I subscribe to several of those newsletters through the people that I have built a strong affinity with.
Mhm.
And besides that, I do use LinkedIn as a quick pulse check on what's happening within the business community.
Mhm.
Um, and the third avenue that I stay sort of informed and alert, luckily, is my community of colleagues. Our colleagues are all very active, and we keep each other informed on Slack. So I think those are my three usual go-tos. There are a few other communities. Podcasts like yours is also where I find when I have any fragmented time, I
Mm.
dial into my favorite podcasts,
Good.
driving to work, picking up kids, etc.
Mhm. Yep, yep, that's definitely a good time to listen to podcasts for sure. That's true. I also teach upper division 2 marketing classes at Boise State, so I understand teaching and also doing all of the work at the same time, right? Being an adjunct, and it fills your heart with joy and anticipation and hope for our next generation. At least it does for me.
Oh my God, yeah, totally. Because I think teaching has a very special reward, which is, and I don't know if that's the same with your side, but one thing that gives me a very special joy is working with very curious, hungry students who may come to
Mhm.
the class with no clue of what the subject is. And
Mhm.
then after a semester, they would all come out feeling much more confident, having
Mhm.
a methodology in hand so they know when similar problem arises, they have a way to go about it. It's this very special reward that
Mhm.
no money can buy.
And I love giving them real world scenarios and experiences too, because I know, there's the academic side of things that you kind of just learn, the book work, but then bringing them real world case, things that have
Hmm.
worked in the agency for them to learn from. It kind of bridges the gap between the academic and the practical, real world scenarios.
Yeah, so true. It helps them to recalibrate. I've seen some students were so book focused, like they they would reject certain ideas or they would 100% like double down on one way or the other, while with my input with my guest speakers, and
Hmm.
they heard things differently. I think one of the most interesting examples was the students that tried to develop a very elaborated, I think it was a dog carrier.
Hmm.
There are a couple of ideas that my student came up with. It was like on the first hearing, we knew it wasn't going to work, but
Hmm.
they poured so much attention into until our guest speakers came and highlighted for them, guys, as a new entrepreneur, think about how you de-risk, and this word got repeated so many times. One
Hmm.
of my students groups were they came back the next week and they drastically changed how they were going to approach the venture. It was just amazing.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, tell me some of your most favorite accomplishments, things that you've done in your career. What are some things that come to mind when I say, what's your favorite thing that you've been able to accomplish?
There are a few really fond memories. I'll highlight a couple. One of them was to unblock the launch of a very complicated product. So
Mm.
I was leading a product called Facebook Attribution. This is when
Okay.
Meta was still called Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
um, I joined the team to realize that one of my ICs was in a very frustrated situation because we didn't have a product manager. The product was in um, alpha state for more than 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So, product management, the PMs were trying to push it to launch. Sales,
Mm,
on the flip side, were very frustrated and said, this product is not good enough, especially
mm,
now I'm back in attribution world with AppsFlyer.
mhm.
I can sympathize with them. And so my product marketing person, was caught in the middle.
Right.
And when I took it over and I studied the situation, I managed to have deeper conversation with folks to realize what they didn't say. It turns
Mm,
out sales was saying something half true,
mm,
while sophisticated businesses wouldn't find that useful. Digital savvy and hungry smaller advertisers were cannot wait for us to make that product available. So it's a segmentation issue. And
mm,
then while customer service didn't want to launch the product, it was because they were never provided with a projected support volume estimate.
mm. I
I was
see.
able to come up with that analysis and really convince the global customer service leaders on, hey, this is actually manageable. And
Mm,
there are four audiences that to manage. The third one was the sales team. While they
mm,
complain about the product, there was one thing they never admitted, which is they didn't fully understand the product, nor
mm,
neither the input nor the output to make them feel comfortable to even speak to it. And then the fourth element was our product team. The reason why they had to rush it is because their personal KPIs were changed, where they were measured not by the quality and commercial success of the product, but just the 0 versus 1 if the product was ever launched publicly.
hmm,
So I was able to then factor in all of those various different point of views and create a much more manageable go-to-market plan, which this was launched back in 2018.
Mm.
And it was, we beat, quoting the media publications, we beat Amazon by the punch because Amazon was about to launch something similar. Where does that take me, though? This was older story 5 years ago, but where I learned from that experience was in organizations that have thousands of stakeholders. This was Facebook.
Mhm.
Sometimes a high stake problem still can be solved by just reframing the challenges and the
Mm.
benefits.
Right.
And I carry that with me everywhere I go because oftentimes we find ourselves in very tricky situations.
Hmm.
And this was a very important lesson learned. The second, I said I have many, so I would just
Yeah,
highlight
no,
one
this
more.
is great. This is great.
I just highlight another success story I'm super proud of.
Yeah.
I think one thing, it's a small one, but I feel like very proud in the sense that um, not taking status quo. This is, with my with current company with AppsFlyer, we already are very progressive. We're always pushing the envelope on how things should be done, where we could go with it. So, with my very capable team, I'm very grateful. We are going to one of the largest conferences in the mobile advertising industry called MAU, Mobile Apps Unlocked, in Las
Ah,
Vegas in April
yeah.
this year. But we're coming back not only as the sort of quote unquote usual, which is, we're the biggest presenter, we have some content, we're going to be on stage. We're pushing the envelope on every front you can imagine. We have a lot more
Mhm.
speaking opportunities. We're going to be everywhere. And I'm super proud of this because the entire team feels very much united. We know exactly the mission and we all feel very pumped while by streamlining our internal operating model. There's also a lot less headache because, as you know, when a company is engaged with a very high stake conference or big
Mm.
program, oftentimes the people who make it happen feel just it's we're in an emotional overdrive. Uh,
Right.
and I'm very grateful to see we're going to be bigger than ever, hopefully without burning our folks too
Yeah.
much. Super happy about this accomplishment.
That's amazing. I'll be in Vegas speaking in April as well for the National Association of Broadcasters conference, Post Production World.
Oh,
What time in
wonderful.
April will you be there, Carolyn?
We're going to be there first week of April, April 2nd to 4th is when the conference will run. How about you?
Not till mid-April, so we'll just miss each other. But Vegas is definitely a good place to go for conferences.
Oh, I
It's
should I should hide a gift somewhere and you should find it when you're there.
like a little treasure hunt.
That's right. That's right.
That's
From
fun.
a marketer to another marketer.
Yeah. Well, Carolyn, this has been absolutely wonderful and just learning all of the experiences that you've given us today. Is there any final kind of thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience? Any words of wisdom that you'd like to give them?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. I think I want to just maybe quickly touch on AI because
Yeah.
there's so much hype about AI. I have personally I've personally taken on some courses with Stanford and studied a bunch. So I want to just maybe help to maybe create I believe, a sensible structure for the listeners out there to think about AI. I think marketers first don't be afraid of AI,
Mm.
um, and second is what if we want to figure out how to adopt AI in our world, we can think about AI through three dimensions. Ultimately, AI automates repetitive work
Mhm.
tasks, as Feifei Li has mentioned in one of her interviews at Davos. But also, AI creates predictions, and that was historically hard. The
Mhm.
other piece is AI can create hyper personalized experiences without predetermined rules. The way I think businesses can unlock AI could be roughly three ways. One is AI can help you create new revenue, either improve your conversion rate or identifying completely new revenue streams
Mm-hmm.
by, for instance, using chatbot that would unlock new revenue when your colleagues may be sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But this requires original data set. So if marketers, you are out there, you have the access to data, really think about what can you recommend your business do with that data. Be very data alert and become an expert of the data. The second piece is using AI to really improve our own productivity. Either it's individual productivity or your departmental operational efficiency, because as an example, you can create your content at scale a lot faster and cheaper. And by the way, knowing what story to tell, as the product we mentioned up earlier with the AppsFlyer Creative Analytics. The third piece is AI really can help to improve our decision making velocity and confidence, because with the data become a lot more uh, easily managed by AI, we can zero in on the insights that were either not feasible before, or you can get insights more accurately. And ultimately, what do we do as marketers? We make high stake decisions day in, day out. So having, an agent, sort of a virtual assistant to help us make decisions faster, I think is fascinating.
Mm. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, just for the first step is embracing the fact that it's not going away and it can benefit your company if you haven't implemented AI yet or as marketers yet. And then the three ways that you said, I mean, there's just going to be it's baby steps in getting it implemented, but once you start doing it, I think then people can use it to their advantage, and it's going to be a whole new world.
Right, right. It's like us having to learn Web 2.0, have to
Hmm.
learn Facebook marketing. Marketers were always learning, and AI is the next new thing. And I would argue AI or not is critical.
Hmm. It still takes I always say human intelligence to use artificial intelligence.
So true. Knowing what's not spoken is the part that AI probably will take years, if not ages, to figure out.
Mhm. Well, Carolyn, thank you so much. Would you like to share with people how they can reach you, maybe on LinkedIn or on other ways that you would like to share?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn through my full name, Carolyn Bao. It's Carolyn Bao with AppsFlyer. I'd be more than happy to connect.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for everything today, Caroline. Really appreciate you.
Ray, so glad to be on your show. I wish the show continues with imparting us with more wisdom going forward as well.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening, the best thing that you can do for both Carolyn and I is to share this with others that you know that need to hear what she had to say today. I know everybody needs to hear what you had to say. And give us a review because that always helps podcasts as well. And until next time, everybody, enjoy your marketing journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Want to continue the journey? Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.